continuing our series where at the beginning of each week we analyze the market through the lens of gamma exposure, discuss the outlook for the next several days, and go over trades that can be put on. But before we get to the main part of this video, let's quickly recap how last week ended and what happened with the trades we discussed. In the previous video, using our application, we pulled up the weekly gamma exposure profile on SPY and identified several zones that had the greatest significance. The main resistance was at the 715 level. These were the largest positive gamma values, and absolute gamma also began to decline from there, so there was no reason for the price to rise above this level. The second largest positive gamma values formed another resistance level at 720. But the probability that the price could have reached there last week was extremely low. The gamma flip zone was right here, and we also highlighted the two nearest support levels, 703 and 700, because these were the largest negative and absolute gamma values. Opening long positions last week was not recommended because the resistance levels were very close, bullish momentum was showing signs of slowing down, and absolute gamma dominated at the lower levels, which acted as an obstacle to upward price movement. On the other hand, at the beginning of the week we also couldn't open short positions because at that time the price was above the gamma flip zone, and that range was seen as support rather than a downside target. What I mean is that if as the price declined we had seen negative and absolute gamma building up, that would have been a signal that the price could move lower. In this case, that level was seen as a block against further downside. So the main idea was that the price would stay within this range during the week, and the most prudent approach was to bet that the resistance levels would not be broken to the upside. Now let's look at what happened with the trades we discussed. Since the main idea was that the market would not move above the resistance level, you were offered a bear call spread on the SPX with strikes at 71.80 and 71.90 expiring on April 24th. For more conservative traders who wanted to maximize their safety, a bear call spread with strikes at 72.10 was offered. This allowed you to cover the range all the way up to the resistance number 2 level. In the end, both of these positions generated a profit of 100%. And even if you hadn't held them to expiration, they were still showing a profit of 80 to 90% on Thursday and Friday. Another strategy we looked at was a call broken wing butterfly. The idea was that if the market started to decline on any day last week, this position would begin to generate profit. But if closer to expiration the price had been in the 71.50 range, this trade would have generated maximum profit. In the end, the second half of Friday traded around 71.60. The day closed at 71.65 and this position generated very good profit. So last week ended just wonderfully. The price stayed within the planned range, the resistance level was not broken, there was no deep drop, and all positions showed solid gains. Now let's think about what awaits us this week. The most important thing to keep in mind is that this week is packed with events that add an element of uncertainty. First, on Wednesday there's the interest rate decision. Second, several big tech companies will be reporting earnings. This brings an element of unpredictability because, as we know, earnings are always a lottery. We never know in advance what the numbers will be, what company management will say about future prospects, and most importantly, how market participants will react. Right now, the SPX is at all-time historical highs and classic technical analysis won't help much here. We can state the fact that the market is above all key moving averages and the deviation is quite large. Many oscillators are in overbought territory. For example, the money flow indicator is currently at levels not seen since August 2020. Back then, the market also showed a V-shaped recovery, hit a new all-time high and then experienced a downward correction of 10%. The RSI has also reached overbought levels. But that doesn't mean the market should immediately reverse and start falling. As we know, when oversold conditions are reached, the market gets bought up, but it can remain in overbought territory for months. All these indicators merely suggest that bullish momentum is slowing down and that further upside will face obstacles. The zone of maximum volume from last week is at the 7,100 level, and that is the nearest local support. The VIX is sending an interesting signal. Even though the market is at all-time highs, the VIX also rose slightly last week. This indirectly suggests that traders are concerned about overbought conditions in the market and are preparing for a correction. Now let's look at the market through the lens of gamma exposure. I'll say it again. This week is going to be packed with events, and in that sense it's very different from even last week. Back then, we could confidently bet that certain levels wouldn't be broken. Now there are potential catalysts that could lead to impulsive moves that might deviate from the overall logic. If we open the weekly gamma exposure profile on SPY and select the expiration dates from Monday through Friday inclusive, the main weekly resistance is at the 720 level. These are the largest positive gamma values and a large spike in absolute gamma. The final weekly resistance is at the 725 level because these are the second largest positive gamma values, and above this level we see a sharp decline in absolute gamma. Therefore, there is no reason for the price to rise above this level this week. However, I would still say that the main resistance is at the 720 level, and a move above that would be a non-priority scenario. The gamma flip zone runs in the range of 712 to 714, and below it something interesting begins. We see a whole series of positive gamma islands, as well as a large concentration of absolute gamma. The two main weekly support levels are at the 706.95 strikes. These are the largest negative and absolute gamma values. Typically, if the price breaks below the gamma flip zone, it means it is moving into bearish territory and volatility will immediately start to rise. And as downside targets, we usually highlight the largest negative and absolute gamma values. But this week we have this swamp zone which starts from the 705 level all the way up to 710. What I mean by that is that if the price moves below the gamma flip zone, you need to be prepared for the possibility that before continuing lower the price might get stuck in this range. That's why, this week, it's better to focus on intraday trading. For example, if on any given day the price approaches the 705 level and on that same day we see that there is a support level on the SPX that aligns with it and on top of that there is a buy signal, then from that level you can make the appropriate decision. So if you want to see this entire picture in a timely manner, keep your finger on the pulse and not be tied to YouTube videos. The link to this app with all that necessary information is in the description below this video. If we expand the range a bit, we can see that below the 706.95 levels, there are two more interesting levels, 690 and 685, where negative and absolute gamma are building up. It's still too early to bet that the price will fall this far, but there are certain signs that the bears are starting to gradually become more active. If we select the remaining 4 expiration days this week, we can see that the concentration of absolute gamma is beginning to dominate below the levels where the price currently is. So to sum it up, here's what I would say. Visually, the market looks stable, but based on a number of signs, we can see that behind the scenes, the bears are starting to slowly pull the blanket over to their side. On the chart, all these levels will look like this. The main resistance levels are at 720 and 725. The two key nearest support levels are 706.95. But before the price can fall that far, it will need to get through the 710 to 706 range where the bulls will be putting up a fight. Even though I'm an advocate of focusing on intraday trading rather than weekly trading this week, let's go over a few options that could be attempted with expiration a few days out. The first strategy is an iron condor on the SPX expiring on May 1st, with the left wing set at the 71.25 level and the right wing at the 72.75 level. The maximum profit on the condor is $250. The maximum loss is $250. 71.25 corresponds to the 710 level on SPY, and 72.75 corresponds to the 725 level. With this condor, we capture this range, and we will achieve maximum profit if the price is here at expiration. But given that there is a possibility of negative news, we can hedge this condor with a calendar put spread on the SPX. We choose the 7,000 strikes with expiration dates of May 1st and May 4th. The positions are opened at a ratio of 3 or 4 iron condors to 1 calendar put spread. Let's imagine that at expiration, the price falls to the 7,100 level or lower. The maximum loss on 3 iron condors would be $750. But as the price declines, volatility will start to rise, and starting from the 7,100 level, the calendar put spread will begin to generate very good profit that will far exceed the losses on the iron condor. On the other hand, if at expiration the market hasn't fallen and continues to rise all the way to the 72.75 level, the calendar put spread will show a loss of about $450. But at the same time, the iron condor will generate a profit of $750, and all those losses will be covered. Thanks to this structure, anywhere below the 72.80 level we will be making a profit. You could implement other options such as a call broken wing butterfly on the SPX expiring on May 1st. The sold call options will correspond to the resistance number 1 level. With this strategy we capture this range, and if at expiration the price is around 72.30, we would make $2,500. If the price declines, the maximum loss will be only $75. This strategy can be combined with a calendar put spread, but if the call broken wing butterfly expires this Friday, the calendar put spread should be opened with expiration a week later. If the price is around 72.30 this Friday, we will get a good profit, while the calendar put spread, because it still has a week left, will generate virtually no loss due to time decay. On the other hand, if by May 1st the market starts to decline, the losses on the call broken wing butterfly will be minimal, around $70, but at those same levels, due to rising volatility, the calendar put spread will begin to generate good profit. Moreover, if a drop occurs, the calendar put spread can be rolled to the following week, because if the price is still in the same range by Monday, this position will generate even greater profit due to time decay. If you're concerned that the market might continue to rise, you can adjust the strikes so that the position generates profit in the event of an impulsive upward move. In that case, you'll have an additional range for maneuvering. I've just laid out the logic that I will follow this week. Each of you can adapt the strategies to your own preferences. For example, instead of SPX, you can always use SPY or XSP. That's all for today. Good luck with your trading and see you next time.